Hey everyone, it's the Mark Muchhead forecast today, so we're going to have a look at what may be around the corner for the month. We've just started, we're on the second day of March, so I do March Muchhead forecast today. And we'll also have a look at how the February forecast went, and then at the very end we'll have a quick sneak peek at April. Now, before I get on with the month-end forecast, just to say about the ads, there's links to articles, most pages at GasWeb.com. Have a browse through widgets, and if there's any articles that you're interested in, please click through your article and go off and read those articles. At the same time, GasWeb is going to get a royalty fee on what you're doing. Thanks very much for doing that. So, just to quickly start off with the situation in February, the February month-end forecast didn't go too badly. The prediction was for a slightly cold on average month, around half a degree to a degree cold on average. So the coldest month of the winter, and significantly drier than average month as well. It was sort of in the right direction, but it wasn't as cold as I was thinking. The anomaly actually comes out of 0.3 of a degree above average. So let's say it was around average in terms of the 30-year temperature average. It came out with central England temperature here at 4.0. So it wasn't quite as cold as I was expecting. It's also a little bit more unsettled than I was expecting as well. But overall, I think most places did have a relatively drier than average month, but not significantly drier than average. There was bands of rain coming through, particularly in sort of the second half of the month. A month of two halves, really. The first half was significantly colder than average, but it's offset by quite a mild second half to the month. So once you average it all out, the overall temperature came out around average. Nevertheless, it was the coldest month of the winter, so got that side of things right. It was 0.4 of a degree underneath January's central temperature. So it was the coldest month of winter, but not a particularly cold month by any means. So overall, I don't think the February forecast was too bad, but it probably wasn't as cold as expected, and it also wasn't quite as settled as expected. So that's winter done and dusted. We're off into spring now. We'll be reviewing the winter forecast, by the way, in a few days, probably over the weekend. I think that did go quite well this year. So let's get on with the March month-end forecast. Anyway, we're going to start off with the CFS V2 700 millibar height anomalies for March, and this is the anomaly. So the blue colours, of course, extrapolating to low pressure, the red colours extrapolating to high pressure. We see that got a ridge in across many parts of Western Central Europe as an anomaly, an anomalous ridge through the course of March, and a trough of low pressure, deep trough up around Greenland Iceland. So the jet stream is going like that generally to the north of the country. So this is indicating quite a mildish March, and with a fair amount of dry weather as well, with the jet stream tending to be shoved further north. I'd say that quite a nice anomaly for March. That would give us some very pleasant early spring weather. So the temperature anomaly for the month is coming out a little bit above average, which is around half a degree to 1 degree above average. So a nice mild month coming up. Greatest anomalies over towards the northeast of Europe, very significantly mild on average there. But most parts of Europe away from the far southeast, generally coming out with a milder than average month for March. And the rainfall anomaly is coming out generally drier than average. It's a little bit more unsettled up to the far northwest of Scotland. That's because the jet stream is running in like that. It's just brushing to the far north and northwest, going in that sort of direction. So it does mean that for western Scotland, it tends to be more of an unsettlement. There will be some rain coming through. But overall, I think a relatively dry month, particularly down in the south and the southeast. So the CFS V2 going for quite a nice March. Let's have a look at the Beijing Climate Centre. These are 500 millibar heights broken down into 10-day periods. The first 10-day period going from the 1st to the 10th. And very similar to the CFS monthly anomaly. Really, we've got all the blue colours here in the north, the west. So that's where we've got the low pressure, high pressure ridging from the Atlantic into southwest parts of Europe. A jet stream going in that sort of direction. So almost coming onto the mild side of the jet stream. And yeah, most settled down in the south, more unsettled up in the northwest of the country. We go through to the next 10-day period from the 11th to the 20th. This is a little bit different, quite a lot different actually. The pattern here is very significantly different. We've got an area of high pressure above average height sitting to the northeast of the country with a trough down to the south. So everything sort of switches around through the middle 10 days of the month. Quite strange what's going on there. But if it comes off anyway, it means we're bringing in sort of easterly winds. So that could be quite a bit colder, actually, through that middle 10 days of the month. We will get some cold easterly winds coming in. Very least, there'll be a lot of cloud dragged in with that. And it depends how cold it is on the continent. Really, you've got a deep cold pool on the continent, but it can still get significantly cold and enough for snow, actually, with easterly winds in March. But because we've had a milder first 10 days, I would suspect we haven't got a great depth of cold on the continent. So let's just say it's cool and cloudy, really coming in with those easterly winds. And as we go through to the final 10-day period, it all switches around again with the Bayesian climate sense. So this one from the 21st to the 30th, and then we're sort of reverting into a very mild pattern. We've got low pressure developing around Iceland. We've got high pressure around Spain, and the flow with that is being dragged up from sort of the tropical Atlantic. So that will turn significantly milder than average through that period. Very nice blast of spring weather coming up. Could be unsettled in the north again, but mainly dry close to that area of high pressure down in the south. So a very changeable month being seen by the Bayesian climate centre, with a relatively mild first half, then a colder middle, and then a very mild potentially and spring-like final sort of 10 days of the month. Once you average it all out, the temperature anomaly is coming out about average, and it's really offsetting all those significant changes through the course of a month. So averaging it all out, we come out very much near normal with the temperature, no great deviation. But we are deviating a lot, I have to emphasise, from 10-day periods through the month. And then the rainfall anomaly, averaging that out, coming out a bit wetter than average. So in those blue colours there. I'm not sure about that. I would suspect we'd have generally a drier than average month. You think that the first 10 days, there's quite a bit of anticyclonic influences to the south, and then the second 10-day period has some high pressure over Scandinavia, so that should be relatively dry. And then you've got the final 10-day period with high pressure around Spain. I'm not sure why we're coming out wetter than average. I would suspect that should be a drier than average month. So it's a bit of a tricky one to pin down this March. It always seems to be tricky to pin down these month ahead forecasts. Actually, I tend to have a better success rate. Going off on a bit of a tangent, I tend to have a better success rate with the seasonal forecast and less so for the month ahead. And I was surprised by that when I first started doing the videos, that it would be that way. I thought that the month ahead would be easier to do than the seasonal, but it doesn't necessarily work out that way. Anyway, that's off on a tangent. The month ahead forecast for March, I think I'm going to go for a slightly milder than average month. I think the solution from the CFS V2 looks relatively plausible and drier than average as well. So a milder than average March, maybe up to a degree above average, with also drier than average precipitation anomalies coming through. Very pleasant spring-like month, although there will be some cooler stats. We just got one at the moment, of course. The next couple of days going to be quite cold, and then maybe later on in the month, probably going towards Easter, it'll maybe deteriorating and going downhill. But overall, I do think we're going to have a relatively pleasant March coming up. As ever, we'll evaluate that when we do the next month head forecast in April. Talking of April, let's have a quick sneak peek from the CFS V2 for April. This is 700 millibar height anomaly, and it's very similar to what it's seeing for March. Actually, we've got the trough of low pressure with the blue colours around Greenland. The ridge here through central parts of Europe, the flow is going like that with the jet stream. So generally on the mild side of the jet again through April. That would be quite a pleasant month. I'm not sure the heights are quite as strong though, so it would be more risk really of being attacked from the Atlantic through the course of the month. It could be one of those situations where it starts off okay and then goes downhill, that sort of thing. Although Easter is early in April, and Easter is normally a dodgy time. You tend to get more white Easters than white Christmases. So that's something that we've got to consider. But worry about April when we get to it. Finally coming back to the March month head forecast from GazObvious.com. I've been looking at a slightly milder than average month, maybe up to a degree above average, and precipitation coming out drier than average as well. There will be some cold snaps coming through the month, but overall quite a pleasant month. That's it for now, and thanks very much for watching. Bye for now.